Welcome to the He Said,
She Said,
We Said podcast. Today we're talking about running your family like a business. Now, Pam, I know one of the things that we talk about a lot is how families have all these plans and they sit and the parents are talking and they go, oh, let's do this, let's go hiking, let's go to this, let's go to that. And it never happens. Tell me why you think families plan stuff and never do anything.
Well, mostly it's because it's all talked about and then nothing's put into action. Like having a family meeting and talking together to see what you're going to do, and then maybe actually putting it on the calendar and giving it a day and a time. Just like you said, in running in a business, you have to have a meeting. So you have to have a calendar of when that's going to happen, what time it's going to happen.
So what you're saying is, as a family unit, we should sit down at the table every so often and discuss what our new activities are.
Yes.
Okay. And so now let's say we sit down and we talk about it and we say, hey, we're going to go to the beach and we're going to do this, this, and this, and this. What do we do next, you think?
We find out when everybody can make it. Like we have older children, and when we want to include everybody, we have to take everybody's schedule into consideration. But even with younger children, you have to figure out when there isn't a game going on, if they play sports, or when they don't have some type of, study activity going on. So the idea is to figure out when it can happen, put it on the calendar, and then talk about it.
And I think one of the things that we have to realize is kids today at a young age have their own electronic devices. So you need a family calendar that everybody has access to, that once you put it on there, it logs into their phones or their tablets or their computers or whatever other electronic devices that they have. So they're constantly going back and they're looking at that and they're making sure, okay, yep, I have that going for that day and that going for that day. I can't make plans with my friends because we have a family thing that day. So now let's say we're sitting at the meeting and, I know one of the parts that I think is super important is when I was growing up, when and if we had a family meeting, it was run like a dictatorship, meaning dad told us exactly what we were going to do and exactly when we were going to do it. And he says, you're going to like it, right? And we immediately said, of course we're going to like it, Dad. Why would we not like what you're saying? I think in today's world, we want to teach kids to be inclusive and to work as I think you said the other word when we were talking the other day is a team. Like instead of a business, work together as a team. Everyone has to have input, Right. And so let me ask you, does the 5-year-old get input?
I would think so, because the 5-year-old probably has its own set of ideas of what's fun and what, the 5-year-old wants to do. So the 5-year-old should also have input so that we can include that. Whatever it is that they want to do, the family does it also.
So let's say you've got the 5-year-old who says, I want to go and see miniature golf. And everybody else in the family is older, say 13 to 16. And they I hate miniature golf. Like, what do you do? Now, we're in our business meeting, right? What do we do in that situation?
Well, if everybody's going to have input, everybody's going to have a time to choose when that activity might be. So there's always going to be activity that maybe one or two people don't necessarily enjoy, but we're still a team. So we're going to do this together and we're all going to get a time where we choose the activity. So we're all going to go. So whether it's golf, miniature golf, or whether it's a movie that's, a kid's cartoon movie, which I don't necessarily always enjoy, but we go and do it if it's that child's choice for that week.
And I also think we have to bear in mind that the 5-year-old's not going to want to do what the 16-year-old wants to do. So it's reminding everybody we are a team. We are going to do something that everybody wants to do at some point. So sometimes we have to do the things we don't like to do to get to the things we want to do. I know for you, one of the biggest things since we've been married that you've always wanted to make sure of is out when we finish our family meetings, that everybody feels like they're being heard. right? So what are some of the ways we can ensure that the kids are being heard?
I guess it's the best way is to make sure to ask them questions directly. Each child having a turn to speak, so that way we're not all excited about a subject and we all get into the conversation, but we don't then miss out on input from one of them, and usually that's the youngest one.
I think with making sure everybody's being heard, the biggest piece is if we're on vacation, everybody has to get one thing, right? Or if we're planning something, we can't always do what the 5-year-old wants or always what the 10 or 16-year-old wants. If we got a week vacation and everybody gets one activity that the whole family does together, and that's the easiest way for me that I think they feel like they're being heard is, everybody gave me 14 ideas a piece and we're going to pick one for each one. And, the other piece to that is create a bucket of ideas. Create a bucket of ideas.
Yeah.
Where we're not doing these on this vacation because we only have 5 days and we have 700 things on this list. Let's put 690 of those over here that we can come back to next time we're looking for something to do. And you may even categorize them. What kid today in elementary school probably hasn't used Google Docs? Right. So how about create a Google Doc for each kid, and they can go on there every time they think of something, and they can start putting something on there. Right. Or, if we're not electronic savvy, you get a little whiteboard or something where I had this idea today, and you can run up and on your list, put ideas of things that the family can do together. One of the most important things for me when we're looking at running the team, running the family like a business, or keeping our team working together, is praise and recognition. What I've learned the most is that the things that people want the most and get the least of is praise and recognition. Mm-hmm. And if we want our kids to keep coming back, and we want our kids to keep giving ideas, and we want them to feel like their ideas are appreciated, then when we do the idea, when they give us the idea, we have to be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. That's a great idea. When we use the idea, we have to be like, wow, putt-putt was way more fun than I thought it was going to be. Or catching crawfish in the creek was way better experience than I thought it was going to be. I only got pinched twice. Wow, that was a win for Dad today. And I think that's important. But I also think, here's my ninja trick for the day is the invisible phone call. Sometimes when the kids were younger and they would do something great, I would fake phone call my friends or my family and be like, oh my gosh, you're not going to guess what Maggie did, right? And I would do that when I knew she was listening and I could see her like, right? Which helped build that confidence silently without her knowing that it wasn't really a phone call. I mean, not that I can't call somebody, but if I know I've got her ears, I can immediately make that happen. And she from the other side wouldn't know that.
Right. Well, that's like praising somebody to someone else, which I think praises work two ways. You praise personally, like to the person directly and tell them that was a great idea. But also, like we call it bragging on our kids when we're praising them to other people, that that seems to be like even more special because it's like, oh, they think so much of me that they're sharing it with other people too.
It's funny you said that. We actually, the phrase you hear in the business realm is praise in public, critique in private. And the phrase you said the other day was praise in public, praise in private, right? If you're going to do it in a one-on-one setting, let's do it out where everybody else can see it too, which just makes their confidence go to the next level.
Right.
Any other thoughts on how to run your family like a business? Any extra tidbits you have for everybody today?
Well, just make sure that you just like you want to add a family night. Remember to put importance on this meeting, to keep it scheduled so that it happens. And if by any chance you have to skip that meeting, then make sure you reschedule it for some time close to that week. Because if it's something that you do on a regular, then it becomes something that they will look forward to.
I think that's it. This is a meeting that has to happen on the regular. And if mom or dad happens to be out of town or traveling, you can Zoom it in now. Like you can Zoom call, or Facebook's got the new Rooms feature. You can You can still get everybody together with the technology we have today to have that meeting. So really, guys, it ends up being sit everybody down, listen to everybody's ideas, take their ideas and use them, praise them for it, and put importance to the family meeting. When it's important to you, it will be important to the kids. And that's our podcast today, guys. Thanks for watching. We know
Thanks for watching.
Somebody that needs to hear this message today. There's always somebody that wants to grow themselves as a parent. If you know somebody, share it with them. Peace.